If you've been injured because of someone else's negligence, one of the first questions you probably have is, how long is this going to take to settle? There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Several key factors affect how fast or how slow your injury case may move. So today I'm breaking it all down using real examples from the kinds of cases we handle every day here at Groth Law Firm. Let's start with the basics. Most personal injury cases do settle, but that's only if your case has value and there's insurance coverage available. Here's really a simple truth. The more insurance coverage available, the longer it might take to settle because the insurance company has less pressure to act quickly. We handled a case where a truck driver failed to yield and hit a motorcyclist. Our client had some pretty severe injuries. The case settled in about 11 months. Well, why? Why did it take 11 months? Because while the injuries were severe, the insurance was really unlimited. It was a lot higher than what you could ever imagine. The limits are in Wisconsin. The limits in Wisconsin, if you're fully insured, may only be $25,000. In this case, because the limits were really unlimited, we were able to gather everything we could to get as much money as possible for our client without a worry of pushing it up to any kind of limit. So we ultimately settled 11 months later for a lot of money for our client, but it took a little bit longer than if the limits were only $25,000 or $100,000, for example. Now let's talk about how to speed things up. You get your paperwork, medical records, bills, crash reports, MRI films, all of the doctors that you've been to us as soon as possible. The sooner you can get that to us, the sooner we can gather it, request more medical records and bills so we have them all, and then send those over to the insurance company so they can set their reserves. And if your case is worth more than what's available from insurance, that puts pressure on them to settle because in Wisconsin, there's bad faith laws that come into play. We had another case where the client fractured their leg. The case ultimately settled, but the driver's insurance policy was only $100,000. The medical bills were more than $100,000. That pressure got us a faster settlement because the client had underinsured motorist coverage. We made a second claim, which also resolved pretty quickly, after applying legal pressure and a bad faith aspect to that underinsured motorist coverage. All right, what about slips and falls? Slip and falls or premises liability cases, like in a supermarket, can take a lot longer. Why? Well, because there's higher policy limits. There's maybe longer treatment timelines, or liability is many times immediately denied. Surveillance footage may be unclear, or it doesn't exist, or the company's lying about it. Businesses could be self-insured. Still, we settled cases like this for hundreds of thousands of dollars. There was one case that we settled for $300,000 that took years to settle. Another thing that can speed things up is filing a lawsuit and getting a trial date. When trial gets close, insurance companies start rethinking their decisions, and that can push settlements over the finish line. We had a restaurant case that settled for $210,000 just 1 month before trial. In auto crash cases, the at-fault driver's personal policy limits often aren't enough. If that driver was on the job at the time, there may be additional employer coverage. These extra layers can add months, but also more value. Now, what about cases against the government, for example? Well, those could take longer too. State governments, municipalities have waiting periods that they're able to wait for 6 months before they have to respond. And then they have times that they can wait before we are able to sue them. And that delays everything. What's the bottom line? Well, the bottom line is every case is different. The best way to avoid delays is to finish your medical treatment, Get your documents in order quickly. Get information to us as soon as you can. Tell us if your insurance changes, if your doctors change, and work with your lawyer to apply pressure when it counts. Here at Groth Law Firm, we're committed to fighting for full settlements, as fair as we can make them. Whether it takes 6 months or 2 years, we're with you every step of the way. Like, comment, and subscribe for more legal tips and real case insight. If you have questions about your injury case, reach out. We're here to help.